Welcome everyone to another Amateur Driving Badly Championship. This championship is going to feature the Porsche Cayman GT4. There will be 10 minutes of practice and 10 minutes of qualifying before each race. Penalties will remain on for the duration of the championship. The points distribution will favor finishing on the podium, but the top half of the field will earn points towards the championship. And the reason I like to spread the points out a little bit is just so that it's a little bit harder to run away with the championship right from the beginning. I don't want all of the points concentrated in the first couple of races to really decide things. So we're going to try to spread the points out a little bit more to keep things a little bit more interesting. There's going to be 7 rounds in the championship, started with Magione, then going to Brands Hatch, followed by Ibizu, Mid-Ohio, Modena, the Red Bull Ring, National, which is of course the short portion of the Red Bull Ring, and the VIR North Course. Most of the races are 8 laps, but because I'd like to try to keep the races around the same length, I've adjusted the number of laps on Mid-Ohio and VIR. And VIR, I really am not sure how long that race is going to be, because most of these tracks I have not driven this car on, so I don't know the lap times. The laps that I've set up are really just my best guess as to what's going to take about 10 minutes to complete. I do have the weather and the track surface the same for all of the tracks, just to keep things a little bit more consistent as far as the driving goes. We do have a pretty full field, 16 drivers in total, everybody in the same Porsche Cayman GT4. So I'm going to go ahead and get the practice and the qualification out of the way, and I hope you guys will join me for the race, 8 laps around Magione. Okay, before the race I wanted to go over the realism and AI settings. So on the right you can see that I have factory ABS and traction control turned on. The Porsche GT4 does have both of those installed, so I will be taking advantage of them. Everything else is as realistic as I can make it. The stability control is off. Fuel consumption, damage, and tire wear are all set to realistic 100%. I do want to start with tire blankets on, just to give that turn 1 on that first lap, just to give it a chance to not be a completely chaotic mess, especially since I do feel like the AI is a little bit weak on the first couple of turns in the race. So I also have the automatic throttle blip turned on, which does not matter for the Cayman GT4 as it has an electronic kicker and an automatic clutch, because my wheel and pedal set does not have a shifter or a clutch installed. On the right you can see the AI settings. I'm running at 95% strength with a slight variation in there just to get the field spread out a bit, and a 70% aggression rating. The one good thing about Assetto Corsa is if these settings seem to be too easy, I can easily change them from race to race. So if I just kill everybody race 1, I will definitely bump those up to where it's more of a challenge, because I do enjoy a challenging race. So without further ado, let's jump into the race. And here we are about to start round 1 of the Amateur Driving Badly Porsche Cayman GT4 Championship. We're going to be doing 8 laps around Magione. Qualified in 7th after a rather poor qualifying session. Just was not able to put together a good lap. So definitely have some work to do through the race to get up into a better points position. I'd like to get onto the podium, but I think 4th or 5th is going to be a pretty good result for me here, so that's what I'm really shooting for. So without further ado, let's get this started. Alright, let's get this race started. Now I am not the greatest at start, so I'm just going to put it at about 80% and hope I get a good shift into first when the red lights go out, and then just kind of punch it. I hope the traction control helps me out as much as it can. That is definitely, along with many others, a weak spot in my racing. Not real sure how to get better at that. I mean, it doesn't feel like I'm really doing that much wrong there. Obviously it's not fast. I'm regularly beaten off the start by the AI. and by other players, it must be said. And wow, that was too deep, and the AI is going to take a chunk out of me there. Not a good series of turns, but I am up into fourth. First, still within reach. So I'm pretty happy with those first series of turns. If there is one area of the AI that Assetto Corsa really should improve, it's the starts. It's the first few corners. Although I'd also like it if they don't try to run me off the road. You know, you look at something like that and you go, well, is that the AI's fault or is that my fault? You know, I mean, I do try to race the AI to a certain extent like I would people. I mean, obviously turn 1, turn 2, I am not going to race people as hard as that. But then again, people aren't going to start like that either. So you kind of have to take what the AI gives you, take the advantage there. But overall, you know, I want to leave them space. I want to, I don't want to jostle them around the track. I want to be, you know, treat them like they're people. I wouldn't want, if I was in a real race with humans, I wouldn't want somebody slamming into me instead of using my using their brakes or something similar to that. So that's not something that I tend to do with the AI. Contact we had earlier was incidental, was not on purpose. I went a little bit wide. I felt like maybe he should have given me a little bit more room than he did. But yeah, I was not trying to use the AI to turn my car. And plus, it's just, number one, it's not good racing. It's not good sportsmanship, even if it is just AI. Number two, it's dangerous. You know, you hit that guy, you have no idea how your car is going to react to that. You know, you can't predict that with any degree of certainty. And in Assetto Corsa, you know, you hit somebody in the back, you lose your momentum, or your momentum goes forward, more accurately, and your back end's going to come around on you. So I've definitely noticed in the Porsche Cayman here, I've got to avoid hitting the AI in the rear, going through a corner. And sometimes it's tough, you know, you're racing close with the AI, and you know, I might slow down to say 50 miles an hour in a corner, and they slow down to 45, and we're so close that I don't have time to adjust that extra 5 miles an hour. I hit him in the rear, and then I lose control, and it's frustrating for sure, because your race that you're running, that is potentially a good one, you're making good time, good progress, is kind of out the window now, because something that simple, you know, it's not intentional by the AI. Obviously, they didn't slow down extra on purpose to wreck you. You didn't hit them on purpose. Oh, maybe this was a good run. No, I thought it was going to be a good one, but you got out of there a bit quicker than I did. Now, that is my best lap ever, during the race at least. I did run faster than qualifying. This is close. This is close. I feel like me and I'm gonna go for a bit of a dive, and see, I really gotta go slow there because he did not want to give me that, and I don't blame him. And totally my fault there. Totally my fault. I just got finished saying, "Oh, give the AI room. Don't treat the AI badly," and then and then I pull some junk like that. That was not good racing. Kind of unintentional. I mean, I didn't intend to go wide, but it was definitely a dive bomb. Definitely a dive bomb. I was not at his quarter panel. His kind of, I think that's the standard. If you're not at the quarter panel before the braking zone, just leave it for the next corner. You know, don't try to throw one in there. That's not, you know, you get away with it one time because the guy you're racing against, he recognizes what you're about to do and he's going to let off. But then you're going to be racing against somebody that's has no idea you're about to dive bomb. They may not even know you're there. They may not even know you're as close as you are. And you throw that thing inside and contact, everybody's spinning out. Just you, just him. You know, it's not good. It's not good racing. It's not good racing. So definitely a dive bomb, and that was way too deep going through that corner. That was awful. But I don't know if the AI has lost their groove or if I've found one, because I'm kind of pulling a gap here, which is surprising. I mean, they really were much faster than I was in qualifying, and here I am, what, a second and a half up, something like that. It's kind of surprising. And you know, it's all this last section here. I feel like most of the track were pretty close, but in this last section, oh, when I brake, when I take the corner correctly, I am much faster than they are. Now that was awful. That was really terrible. I'm glad I had that second and a half. And now I got dirty tires a little bit, so I'm gonna have to take a couple of corners a little bit more carefully, I think, just to give my tires a little bit of opportunity to recover. You can see in the Sidekick app the numbers there. That's the tire tread remaining, and then the color is kind of their temperature state. So it briefly went up into the orange, I believe, when I took that corner so poorly. And I'm just really taking this corner terribly today. Just over driving it. Really just need to slow down sooner. The car is understeering through there, which means I'm taxing the front wheels too much. And to fix that, you in a rear-wheel drive car, you just need to go slower, essentially. If you got a ton of power and perhaps your car is set up a certain way, you can kind of kick the rear end loose a little, and that'll help the car turn a little. But I don't know that that's necessarily the fastest way around the racetrack. You know, you want to be in control. I do wonder in this race if I have been abusing second gear too much. I mean, it feels okay. It doesn't really feel like I'm lagging much through the through most of these corners. But I can't help but wonder if I were to shift down in the first, if I would get a better result, you know? Yeah, I don't know. Going through here in first definitely seems smoother. Could be my imagination, but... Whoa. Yeah. Discount that last turn. Because I wasn't even in first gear around there, but... Yeah, I don't know. The rear braking point, coming down that straightaway, is kind of tough because I'm using a line in the track, a horizontal line, and there's 3 or 4 of them that look identical, or really close at least. So there have been several times, hate to admit it, several times, where I've started braking way too late, you know. Oh, it's not this line, it's that line. Actually, no, it was that line back there, and you're in the dirt. You know, oh man. just can't tell there. I think for me, for my driving style, that corner, the way I've got the car set up, which I didn't make huge changes to the setup, but the way I've got the car set up, I think that second gear is the gear that I want to be in. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oversteer, oversteer. Be careful. This is the last lap. I do not want to throw it away. I do have a second of cushion. But wow, am I racing terribly? Wow, that was a terrible sequence of corners. Not even sure how I did that badly. But we are going to come away with the victory. Round 1, Magione, 8 laps, super happy, starting from 7th, finished in 1st. Really just a fantastic result, I think. Really happy with that. You know, leads one to think, should I turn the AI up or not? And for now, I don't think I'm going to. I did qualify in 7th, and I felt like I had a pretty decent race, but nothing spectacular. I mean, there were mistakes made all over the place, and I only won by half a second. So, and of course, a lot of that time was, or a lot of those spaces were gained on the on the start. You know, I think I put myself up into third or fourth in the first few turns. So, you know, if I was in 10th, I think I would have finished 4th or 5th, definitely not 1st. So I think I'm going to leave them where they are at until it's just not a fun race. You know, I'm blowing them out, that sort of thing. So um, what's interesting to me is that, as you can see here, the best lap I did was 124.5, and the best lap they did was 125.4, which is not even. Actually, I guess one guy had a 124.7, but that is nowhere near their qualification times. Let's see if we can. Yeah, so look at their qualifications. Is that this? No. Well, those times aren't displaying correctly. I can tell you that much. But it's just odd that the times are so far different than qualification. That's all I mean. So no big deal. Anyway, great race. Had a lot of fun in this car. Um, it's just a beautiful machine. A lot of fun to drive. A lot of setup options, so you can kind of tune it how you like it. Decent power, but no stability control. I really only had a few bad corners, so I think that those are something that I can work through in this car over the next few races and really kind of learn its character and how it drives. So I think I'm going to keep everything the way it is for the next race, and I don't actually remember what the next race is. So tune in next time. Be sure to subscribe if you want updates on when my next video goes live, and please leave me some tips and tricks, comments below, so that I can help improve along with everybody else. So, all right, guys, catch you next time.